Okay, dokie. Right. I was meant to stream yesterday, but my voice is a little bit dodgy and I am coming at the back end of COVID. So we're here and I'm only going to stream for an hour or so just to kind of move things along. But yeah, we're just trying to set everything up because the last stream was very quiet. My microphone wasn't turned up an awful lot. Right, that sounds good on my phone. It was my phone that was quite quiet because I checked the stream when I was in the house. So, in this stream, what we're going to try and do, so basically, I've changed the whole thing with what the game's going to be about. So, basically, what's going to happen is you're going to stop the pigs from stealing your apples. So, we're calling it Stop the Piggies, basically. The farmers are obviously going to stop the pigs, and the whole premise is that like your farmer friends are going to help by tranquilizing the pigs. I didn't want to do it, so it was like killing the pigs or anything like that, because I think that's a bit inhumane. And I'm not a vegetarian in any sense of the word, but you know, making a game on stream, I didn't just want it to be all about murder and stuff. So basically, what's going to happen is at the beginning, the pigs are going to be running with the apples, and obviously, if the pigs get to the finish line with a certain amount of apples, then you've lost the game basically. And what's going to happen is you're going to be able to place like farmers on like pedestals and stuff like that are going to shoot like, I want to say tranquilizers because it's the least, what's the word? What word am I thinking of? It's the least horrible way of dealing with the pigs. So obviously the pigs will just go to sleep. They're not, and then they'll wake up, and then that's it. I did I did have a couple of things in my brain, but I don't want scope creep to start coming, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like I had an idea of like having a little pen here where like every time a pig spawns in, a pig despawns from the pen, and that's the pig's like, and then obviously once you shoot a pig, it'll get spawned back into the pen, type thing. But again, scope creep, I don't want to do it. I just want to make a basic tower defense type thing. It's technically an apple defense, but you know, we're gonna try and aim for something like that. So in this episode or video or live stream, we're gonna try and get it so the pigs are getting shot at. Now we're not gonna do like placements like where you click in your place. That'll be for next stream because I'm not very well and I just wanted to get a stream out anyway. So in this one we're gonna set up the shooting mechanics and try and get the shooting going. Getting shot at. Now right, everything's working, everything's back on. My chat's actually working now, which is good. Right, so what I'm going to do is with the enemy, which should be in prefabs, and obviously it's not an enemy anymore, it's a pig. What we're going to do is we're just going to open this prefab up, and I'm just going to make it look somewhat pig-like. Because obviously it's going to be a pig, and it's going to look very similar to the Minecraft pig, but we've got to do what we've got to do for now. So we're just going to have that. Oh, actually no, I'm scaling the wrong thing here. And this is what the effects is for, so we're just going to scale that down. Again, this is not going to look anything remotely like a good looking pig, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to model some stuff off stream so that the streams go a bit more fluently, and I don't want to obviously download assets and stuff. I want to do it on my setting. So yeah, let's just make a pig for now that is somewhat representation of a pig. So I'm just going to make some feet. It's going to look more like a cow, I'm telling you. I bet it looks more like a cow than it does a pig. When we finish with it, I bet it looks more like a cow than it does a pig. So if we just click F on this, and I can zoom down a bit and move that to the front. Duplicate there, click both of them, duplicate, and move them back. That's a bit too far, and actually I'm going to make the body a tiny bit bigger. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all them and call them, so I'll just rename them. Where's my underscore unit underscore, where's my underscore effects underscore legs, and then we know which obviously is the legs. This is the body, so we're just going to put underscore underscore body, and then we're just going to duplicate this, and we're going to change that body to head, and we're going to move that up and scale it back. We need to keep it proportion with the body, don't we? So that should technically just be a cube. Move that up there like this. And again, if we just get the models materials, enemy materials, yep, and we change that to a pinky colour, then there's no denying that that's our pig. So then obviously that's our enemy pig, and we just need to set the nav mesh agent to somewhat look right with how the pig is dealing. So actually what we'll do is, if I just grab all that, can I just bring that down? Is that where that's going to go? Yes, I'm just going to line that up best I can. So it's down a smidgen. Yeah, that's not bad. Right, so now all we need to do is on the height, if we put that to 0.5, yeah, that's perfect. Right, so now that's sort of what it's like. So if we just click play now, technically it should just take that prefab, and then we've got our pig. It's running around. Cool. Right, and just to have a representation of the fact that it's going to be eating an apple, just create a new 3D object, and it's going to be a sphere. And that sphere is really weird, so we're just going to bring that down, scale it down, attach it to the head, and bring it up to the mouth. It's a bit of a big apple, is that? So it's going to be in its mouth, is it not? Yep, it's somewhere in its mouth, that's in its mouth. Anyway, we're going to create a new material, and we are going to name this just a simple apple. Now, you can get green apples and you can get red apples, but I suppose for what this is, a red apple is more noticeable to what's going on. So we're just going to attach this, and that is our basic apple for now. Now obviously I'm going to model an apple, but for now, looks a bit like Rudolph, doesn't it? Right, that's it, that's it. So obviously now we can see that, I mean you can't really see. I suppose we can, no, we're not going to have a zoom in function, but it don't really matter. We'll make it so we can kind of see that it's a red apple, but get to there, yep, that's an apple. But what we want to be doing is, instead of taking, oh no, so yeah, we want to be taking one off of a certain amount. So the first level, let's say, if you lose 5 apples, that's your first level, that's gone. So we'll just change the amount that it gets taken away from. So if we just go to our scripts and we open any script, it should open them all up. So yeah, we'll start with, let's say 5 on the first round, and then we'll minus 1 from that. So you see how it's taking away 100. So if we just take away 1, save that, and then in our game manager, points is what it is, so we can set them points in the inspector, which I imagine's on the main camera. I need to properly set out this scene and the hierarchy and stuff, because it's going to get real awkward real quick when I can't find stuff. So let's say it's 5 for the first one, and then instead of points, what we'll change that to is, we can set this to how we want it. So let's just, for now, make a string, and we'll that'll be called whatever you want. So let's just call it item for now. Let's get rid of this start function because we don't need it. And then in here, what we'll do is we'll do item, and then plus, and we're just going to add a space. Just in case. So like, obviously with this, what's going to happen is it's going to get the string of the item, it's going to add a space in between it, and then it's obviously going to add the score, which is what we want. And then here it's obviously the item, so what we're calling it is apples, which is easy, and I'm just going to put a colon just for simple purposes only. Right, and then now if we click play, it should technically turn to apples with a colon and 5. There we go. Right, and then obviously when the pig gets to the end, it's going to delete one of those apples. We need to sort that out. We need to sort that corner out, because that's going to be a weak point for pigs. If we just set like a person here, it's going to automatically kill them. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to set up a basic, I want to say turret, because it's the easiest way, and literally the turret is like a visual. It's not what's going to be there, like whether it be an actual mechanical turret or it be a, let's say, another farmer with a gun, it still acts the same. It's still going to look with the gun, and it's still going to follow the pig. So what we're going to do is we're just going to set up a simple turret, and to do that we are going to, what I'm going to do is just to keep everything somewhat similar, I'm just going to make a turret that is somewhat the same size as this pig, if not a little bigger, because obviously it depends what size pigs you've got. You can get pigs that are bigger than humans if you lay down next to them. So we'll just have this as an average pig. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to create an empty game object, and we'll call this, we'll call it farmers underscore mate, just because it's a farmer's mate. And then in here what we'll do is we'll use like basic geometry to kind of signify what's going on. So this is his pedestal, this is what he's going to be stood on essentially, and we'll call this ped, and then we're going to create another game object, and just for simplistic purposes only, we're going to make a sphere and have that up there like this. So this is the person, obviously. Now we want the full person to be rotating. We don't want them rotating up and down, but we want them rotating left and right. So this is what everything's going to be attached to. So now if we call this a farmer, and we create a weapon, which is obviously going to be the gun. I'm just going to make him look somewhat... actually no, we've never used in game design a cylinder to signify a person. We always go with a capsule, because that is what we use. So this capsule guy is now our farmer. And just to make him look more cool, we're going to add some spectacles. Bring it out. Bring it up. Right, so now this guy has got some stuff going on. So if we go to materials, so technically the farmers are not the enemies anymore, and this is what I was saying. I've changed it a little bit. So technically now the farmers are the good guys. They're just stopping the pigs from nicking the apples, right? So technically this guy is one of our main characters. So what we want to be doing is in prefabs, because it's an obviously a new prefab. What we're going to do is we're going to make a new folder called farmers mates, and we're going to open that up, and I'm just going to make a new folder called mate underscore 1. And then in here, this is where all so there's obviously going to be mate 1, mate 2, mate 3. I'm only going to make like 3 of them for now. No, I'm going to make 5, because I did a little drawing on a piece of paper and I had 5 on the hotbar at the bottom. So we'll make 5, but for now, I have put a capital where the A should be. And then we're just going to make a couple of materials. So a couple of materials, duplicate them. So this will be the glasses. And obviously that's going to be a basic black. So he's got black glasses. And now we can kind of set it. So like, you see how that looks like he's got it like on his nose now. I love that. I think that's really funny. And then we'll make it so the pedestal's got its own thing as well, and we'll call it ped, and we'll assign that, but we're going to assign that as like a little dirt hill or something, or we can have him stood on like boxes or whatever. Don't write matter for now, but we'll just say a placeholder in at the minute. So we'll have that like that, and then the actual green guy itself, he's going to be green, just to signify that he's good. Bonk, turn the smoothness down, and the actual glasses it's sen. Turn the smoothness right up. So now this guy is all one, but we've got our own sort of thing to look at. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to add. I'm just going to rename them to glasses, and we are going to add another object, and that will be. Let's just put a cube for now because it don't really matter, does it? Don't really care. And what we're going to do is I'm losing my marbles with the scaling now. I'm used to Blender, so we'll scale that down, scale it up, put that next to him. So then he's technically got a little gun, and I'm just going to add the glasses onto that just because it's black and it like signifies. So then obviously now I'm going to go. Well, no, I suppose you could have double guns. I suppose that's an upgrade function, but we're not scope creeping. We're just doing our basic stuff. So now that is our guy, and the last thing I'm gonna do, just because it makes it a lot more simpler for rotation, is in here I'm gonna make a new. Actually, I'll do that there. So if I create an empty game object here and call it position, it's technically not for the position. Technically it's rotation, but in the Y, is it the Y? Yep. So if we put that, if we minus 0.5 that should go to the bottom. Or is it minus 1? Yep, minus 1. Right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to attach the farmer to that. So now if we click the position, no matter where this guy looks, I mean it does look a bit weird, but like even if he looks down, it don't look weird. So we'll just move this guy back up, and now we've got a full set of like we can keep him here, and we can keep him on the map for now, and then like obviously just set the shooting mechanics up so he shoots a pig basically. So then in the prefabs, farmer's mate, we're just gonna technically do this, and that's cool. And then on the gun, what we need to do is we need to set up a gun shooting position. So we'll create another empty game object and bring that forward, and then we're just gonna put shooting pos, and then this is obviously where the shooting script goes. So now we just need to override that and apply that so it applies the gun, which is cool. We're going to keep that on there for now, and we're going to get rid of the pig if I can find him. So that's the pig enemy unit. I'm going to rename the pig because I'm going to end up getting confused. Pig underscore enemy unit, and then we know what's going on, don't we? And the pig has no tag at the minute, so what we'll do is we'll create a new tag and we'll call it pig. And then we'll assign this tag to the pig. And then the enemy units, I suppose for now they don't particularly need to. They don't need. What don't they need? What was I going to say? They don't need a tag because we're not going to try and grab anything from this player. All we need is a shoot script. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that enemy there, and I'm not even going to rotate like his actual thing to. We'll do that. We'll do it so it's facing at least the road. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to do it so it's got basic functionality. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach the script to the actual enemy itself. So if we just go to script and we are going to... did I call in an enemy? He's not an enemy. The farmer is not the enemy. The farmer is not the enemy. The farmer is the good guys. And the people like that you place down are your mates. They're just helping you catch the pigs from nicking your apples, basically. So what do we call this? We call this... no, because I don't want it to be a... what do you call it? Farmer's mate underscore... No, you can't put underscore mate. Manager. Farmer's mate manager. Right. Right, so first thing we need to do is we need to get a list of any pig that is currently in scene. But what we can do for now is just test it. Right, so if we just put public transform, because there's only going to be one pig in scene anyway, right? And that pig is going to be going extremely slower because I'm going to turn his speed down. So his speed now is going to go 1, just so I can visually test that he's actually looking at the pig it's sent. So what we're going to do is we're going to set that to pig underscore units, because eventually it's going to, units is plural because eventually it's going to be an array, because it's the easiest way I can think of doing it. And in the start function, what we want to be doing is when, no, you don't want to be doing it in start function. Suppose when the game starts, but it's not like that. It's going to do it when the pigs come in. So if you just bear with me a minute, this is going to be really dirty, but I just need to make sure the actual tags and stuff are working. So what we're going to do is we're going to put game object dot find game object with tag, and it's just pig, and then that's going to be transform. Pig underscore unit equals, right, and then essentially what should happen there is it should grab the pig unit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put transform dot look at, and then just the pig unit, right? And essentially what should happen then is the player should look at the pig unit, should follow it, right? So, and essentially what we could do is we could actually make that private, but I just want to visualize it and see. I suppose you can serialize it, but I'm not going to for now. It's just no point. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the position. Where's the script? Farmer's mate. It's got the tag on it already. So what should happen now is it should automatically attach that. There you go. And you see how it's looking at it, which is what we want. So now we can set a distance to be shooting at it. Right? See where I'm going with this? Does this make sense? Yeah? And we still got to figure out, do we want a rigid body type shooting movement, or do we want raycast with like a visual effect? Because I suppose it doesn't really matter. So what we're going to do is, just for simplistic purposes, and you know what would happen, right? If we was to kill this pig and spawn another one in, or if we spawned 2 pigs in and killed one, would it automatically update, or would it error and try and grab both pigs at the same time? So let's just spawn 2 pigs in, right? And we'll grab that pig. Yeah, so it's automatically going to jump to a pig, right? And if there's no pigs left in scene, it's going to make an error saying it can't find a pig to obviously assign to this variable that we've got here. But we can sort that out. We can make it so that, like, if there's no pigs in scene, don't look at the camera. Do you know what I mean? So, like, to make this easier, if so what we're doing, if so hang on. What's given us the error? I suppose it's both of them, innit? And if that equals null, so if there's no pigs in scene, just just return null, innit? So, like, yeah. Anyway, right, no, because we can do that in a for loop, so it's easier to do it like that. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get some basic shooting mechanics going, right? So what we're going to do is this does need to be in the higher inspector, because I need to be able to assign the actual shoot position. So again, I'm just doing this dirty for now because I just need to get it working, and we're going to call this shoot position. And I suppose we could reference it in start and be like, look, find a tag with shoot position and assign it, but because it's all part of the same prefab, right? So this farmer's mate's always going to have the same shoot position, its own shoot position. So we want to be assigning its own shoot position. And if you do it via code, it might accidentally, for some reason, a bug come about and assign another farmer's shoot position. And then Yeah, it's just easy to do it like this. Easy to assign it. Obviously, the pig units you can't assign it because they're getting instantiated, so they're technically not in scene yet. So you can't add them through the hierarchy. So we're just going to do it like this for now because it's an easier way of doing it. 25 minutes. Oof, right, we're getting somewhere. So like now, what's going to happen is it's got the shoot position. That's cool, right? So the shoot position, it knows where it is. And obviously that's where it's coming from. So now we need to make it so that like if he is shooting, then yeah, if he is shooting, we need to hit the actual pig. So we need to make some health for the pig. I don't know whether I have a script on the pig, which I do. It's the enemy controller. Right, so now we're just going to put a public integer and we're going to call this, let's call it health obviously because it's just health. And we're going to equal that to 100 for now, right? So now the pig's got health, right? And the easiest way I know how to get health from another character, I mean you can do it through a collider, and obviously when the collider hits, get that, but the easiest way for me, I know, is a raycast, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a raycast. Now, I am not the best at raycasts, so I'm assuming if I just do this and hit, and then if physics.raycast, and what do we need in this raycast? Let's all learn together. So we need an origin, we need a direction, we need a maximum distance, and then you can set like layers and stuff to kind of filter out what you want to hit, right? So, but we can do that in a different way. We don't have to use layer masks. So let's do it. So raycast, and then what do we want? What was it? Was it origin? Yeah, origin. So the origin is obviously the shoot position. Dot position, and then what else we got? I'm just learning this with you. So direction. So if we just do that, shoot position dot forward, because that's just an easy way of doing it. And then for now, what we want to do is we want to make sure we're shooting far enough, but we also want to make sure we can't shoot from one end of the map to other. So for now, I'm just going to set it as a random integer. And I'm just going to make a simple debug integer, that's shoot dist, right? And I'm going to equal that to 10 for now. And then we're just going to put shoot dist in there, right? And then that's that, right? So that's cool, right? So we've got the hit, and then, hang on, we're missing some, shoot dist. And then is it something like, no, I'm sure it's something like out hit and then something like that, maybe. I feel like it's something like that. I can't be too sure though because I am not very good with this sort of stuff. Why is that unnecessary value hit? Give me a minute. I've got a million different things. I've got raycasting. So where do we go? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Hang on a minute. Easiest way to do it. Open that up. Right. So we need to be going to multiplayer dungeon raider. Multiplayer test. Dungeon trials. That's in E. So multiplayer test. Dungeon trials. Assets. Scripts. Now, I am almost positive I can open that up just with Notepad and I will see it. Oh god, that's well. Yeah, so in the physics. Hit, camera position, camera forward, which is right, out hit, and then mathf.infinity. I think that is right. And I'm looking at it, and it's pretty much the same. So forward, out hit, mathf.infinity. The only reason it's different is because I've used mathf.infinity, but that just means it's going on forever. I mean, we could if we really wanted to just do mathf.infinity just to shut it up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do an if statement, and then if statement is if hit.transform.tag equals, and then obviously it's the pig. We'll do hit.getComponent. No, come on. Hit.transform.getComponent, and then we need to get the enemy controller, because that's what the health's on. Dot health, and then we need to minus equals, let's say 10 from that, right? And that's just gonna, because we've got transform.lookat, it's just gonna constantly be looking at the pig, so it's just gonna constantly minus 10. And then obviously if the pig equals 0, yes, we'll do that in the update function, right? So if health is less than or equal to 0, destroy this game object, right? So technically what should happen is that player, no, that one of the farmers should technically just look straight at that pig and just obliterate it instantly, because we're running it every frame, right? And I suppose what you could do is, because we're looking at it all the time, right, we can do it so we can say it, so like we've got a shoot function. So if we just do that basically, so if input, this is just for testing purposes because I don't want this, I need it to automatically shoot. So get key up, right, and then we're going to do key code, and then we're just going to set it to the mouse, so the left mouse click, so that'll be dot mouse 0, and then we'll make this into curly brackets, right? So basically what's going to happen is if the hit is, so if the tag is pig, right, and we click the left mouse button, it's going to minus 10. That's essentially what should happen, unless we get some errors and I'm wrong. And I've set up the raycast different, but I'm almost positive this should work. We've got no errors. I'm going to click play. So then what we'll do is we'll look at this pig here. So we'll click on pig, right? And if we go to scene, you see how he's looking? It isn't. Right, so I'm just going to try something now just because I want to know if that's my coding or if that's something else. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a debug dot draw line shoot position and then hit dot point. So technically, oh yeah, we need to set a color as well, though. So we'll set that to color dot color. It's an American color as well. It's not English spelt color. We'll just make that red, right? So now what should happen is we should technically see a raycast being drawn from the gun to the player. And we have, right, so you see how it's doing it? If we click on pig, right, so that technically should work. It's obviously doing it because is it because of the collider? Right, hang on a minute. Is that because, no, it's because of the pig in it. The pig hasn't got a collider on it. Yeah, so I mean, like, let's just test this out, right? So essentially that's not working. And let's just comment that out a minute, and let's just put print and then hit dot transform dot name, right? So that technically now should print in the command console pig, or well, pig enemy unit. That should technically be what happens. So if we just got to console, I could do it camera being a bit closer really, because there's not a lot I can see from right up there. So if I just get this camera and move it down ever so slightly, I feel like we should be able to move the camera like ever so much, like zoom it in a little bit and then be able to do that. So I'm going to put the console down here for now because I need to be able to see if I'm raycasting, which I am, and I know I am because that's just been happening. So now essentially what should happen in the console is it should say pig. And it's not, right? So that means to me it's not hitting anything. So the pig needs a collider on it, right? So let's just have a box collider for now. Hang on, I need to go in and see. See, that box collider is way too big. Just needs to be the same size as whatever it's aiming at. And whatever it is aiming at is the bottom thing. So let's just bring that down, And it shouldn't interfere with the nav mesh in any way, right? So what's happening is it's going to the bottom, which is fine. But what's going to happen? Yeah, so it needs to delete that. So, right, what should happen now is if we click play, so if you click play now, is it coming up? It is not. Why is that then? Hello, Potato Legacy. Sorry, mate, I don't know when you commented that. It's not giving me any information or anything. So, yeah, it's not doing that. Why is it not doing that? Funny thing is, yeah, I've done this about 1,000,000 times, and for some reason, the one time that I'm doing it, let's say on stream, it's not working. Obviously, makes sense, doesn't it? Got it. Alright, so why are you not working? Is it because the tag of the pig's not right? Yeah, it's a pig tag, right? So hit.transform.name. If hit.transform, so game object maybe, game object dot tag equals pig. Just print, I want to print the name, so it should technically just work. Why are you not working? What is it aiming at? That should be aiming. It's aiming at his head. I mean, it looks like a that should be aiming at like the. I think I know why it's not aiming where it should be aiming, and that is because the look at is on the actual position, like not the actual gun itself. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do another thing. We're gonna do shoot position dot look at pig units, right? And technically pig units, and then that's just gonna. I'm gonna put all this up here because it's fucking confusing me being down there. Right, so essentially what's going to happen is it's getting the pig information. There's a different way we can do this, but I need to make the hit right. So shoot position. Oh, that's working. So it should just technically print. Forward out hit my ff.infinity. Draw a line to the hit point. There's no reason why that shouldn't work now. Am I wrong? Because like we're getting the pig unit anyway, right? We can reference that for anything, but we need to make it so like if the hit point is actually working, then do something. And technically, there we go. Look, you see how it's there we go, right? It's because I wasn't actually looking at the pig. So technically now, if I cross that out, right, and I make this whole thing, it's because the collider wasn't actually getting initialized. So if I just do that, right, and make it on the Z a bit fatter, right, so now technically that should just work the same. So I should just be getting the same sort of scenario going. Yeah, we are. Right, so you see how it's updating now, right? So now it was just the collider. I knew it was something simple, right? So we can get rid of that because we don't need that anymore. We can bring that back. We can get rid of that. So now we're just going to do the if statement again on the input. Input dot get key up, because I want to do it as if I'm shooting once. Oh, and then we're going to do key code dot mouse 0. And then what's going to happen is every time we hit the mouse button up, it's going to essentially shoot and give me the name of the pig. And it should take 10 health from that pig. Right, so if we just click play now. Right, and then go to the pig unit and go in game. Click. You see how it's taking the health off the pig now? And if the health gets to 0, it's gone. But now we've got the problem of it's giving us an error because it's not picking up no more pigs. But if we go into game again and spawn one, it's automatically going to come back in and be like, yo, I can just shoot you. And then obviously we can do all that. And essentially you can just spam it. And essentially what we can do is, and what I mean by like machine gun type situation, is if we just take that off, because it's going to run every frame, what's going to happen is it's just going to absolutely decimate every single pig, right? And just to help us with that, what it's going to do, so it's going to print hit.name plus hit.get component, no, hit.transform.get component, get components, and that's going to be the enemy controller. And then what we want to do is we want to get the enemy controller's health, right? That should work. Enemy controller, what am I doing wrong? So hit.transform.get component, enemy controller, health. Why is that doing that? And then dot to string maybe? Health dot. Alright, right. Should just work now. Plus, am I doing something wrong here? Have I misworded something? What did I do wrong there? Oh wow, I put get components, I had an S, some boy. Right, okay. So what that's going to do is that's going to get the name, and then we're just going to make this easier so we can see it. Right? And you're not really going to be able to see it, but it'll be funny. So we're just going to debug some stuff now on how quick we want it to shoot, and we'll just set up a quick timer just so we can see what's going on. So click play now, right? And you see how quick that got rid of that then. So I can spawn as quick as I possibly can. It's just getting rid straight, right? So let's add a timer as like a basic shooting timer. But what I'm going to do is I am going to I don't need shoot dist anymore. Do I need shoot dist? Let's just change this to shoot dist, right? So shoot distance. I'll start phrasing it better. I'm going to start cleaning up my code a little bit because this seems to be a bit stupid, but I'm actually going to add a timer in first before I start cleaning up my code, just to make it work properly. We're going to call this timer, right? And then what's going to happen is in the update function, we're going to say, so timer minus equals, let's set the timer so it needs to shoot every like dun, dun, dun. So not quite 1, but like let's just equal that to like 0.5f for now, yeah? And then timer minus equals, let's say 0.5f, and we'll times that by delta time, times that by time dot delta time, just so if it's running on other people's computers it's not going to lag out. And then if timer, so if and timer is less than or equal to 0. Right, so if timer is equal to 0, then what's going to happen is that's going to set that back to the original timer. So we need to basically copy this and put O timer just to basically set it as the original timer. And this now can be privatized because we don't want to be able to see this, but the O timer we need to be able to basically keep ahead on what that time is going to be. So now we just need to set timer equal to O timer once the timer's run out. And let's just sort all this out because it's doing my head in. There we go. It's a bit easier to look at. We're gonna refactor all this code. I just want to get it working before I actually settle into what I'm doing. So now essentially what will happen is the timer's going to count down 0.5 of a unit. So I think 1 is a unit, so it'd be half a unit of a second. Let's just try it because we can set this up anyway, so it don't really matter, right? So now what's going to happen is in the position. Let's just actually what I'm going to do is before I privatize this, let's just see how quick that timer runs down. Uh, 0.5, yeah, so that's where we edit it, right? Let's just make some more let's just make some more functionality. Speed of timer, right? And let's just do that minus equals speed of timer. So now we can just edit it all in the hierarchy and we don't have to keep coming back into the script. And once we've got it set and dialed in and stuff, we can edit it on any farmer's mate. So essentially this should technically now count down. Dum, 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 dum. See how it's going down now? Dum, dum. So that's pretty solid. Like that was just a basic like instance of, I mean, it's working. And basically what we can do as well is we can set this timer speed to be somewhat quicker. So if we just one, you see how quick now, like that'll be going down quicker. This one, dun, 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 dun. Yeah. If we just spawn some more in, and let's just put that to 2. So this guy now should just be decimating. Let's just put it to 10 times speed. Yeah, there you go. See how that's working now? Right. So now, that's the shoe. That is technically the shoeing all done, right? So all we need to do now is once that timer equals something, all we need to do is we need to set, like instantiate, let's say, just like a bubble or an object. And once that object is spawned, it just needs to follow to the hit point, right? But first we're gonna just sort the code out because it's stressing me out and I don't know what I'm looking at, right? So let's just get rid of this start for now because I'm just gonna, yeah. But let's just put some stuff in that like just makes it easier to read. So we're gonna put something like a header, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this header. Let's just call it timer settings for now, yeah. And I like, the thing is, right, is it's bad practice having everything as public, and I get that, but I love to be able to like manually see what I'm looking at, like with the timer settings, like this timer variable here. You don't need to see it technically. You don't particularly need to see it because there's no reason to see it. But I like to be able to see the timer going down just so I know it's working. Because if I was to load the game back up and something not work, I'd be like, well, why is that not working? And then if I just randomly glance at the inspector and the timer's not going down, I'd be like, well, why is the timer not going down? And I can just bug fix easier. It's just easier to bug fix. So I like to be able to see anything. So I split everything up with headers because then it's just easier for me to look at. So now what we're going to do is shoot dist does need to be public, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make an header here, right? And I'm going to call that shoot. Oh, shoot settings, right? And then this one is going to be unit settings, right? But that shoot position is something to do with shoot, so we're going to go in there and boom. Right, so now if we're going to Farmer's Mate Manager, it goes from this to being nice split up to looking at it and understanding what's going on. So we've got the timer settings, right? We get that. The timer settings are there. The unit settings, so obviously the pig units, right? That's cool. The shoot settings, we've got shoot distance and shoot position. We've got that. It's easy. And then obviously once you've like finalized all your code and you're happy with it, then you can go in and start privatizing variables and serializing in the inspector. Do you know what I mean? So this is just how I like to do it for now because it's just easier to read and easier to debug. So that's that one. Game manager. I'm not even going to bother with this because that is the most basic stuff. Like that's going to be upgraded in a bit in like another stream, but for now that is just not needed. What do we need to do with this? So finish, we obviously need that. We don't need headers. We can do a header hit. Hang on. Did I not copy and paste the header? Copy and paste into the control pop and then health settings, right? That can be private. We don't need to see that. Finish, technically that can be also privatized, but I want to be able to see that for now, so I'm just going to leave that as is, right? And then obviously with the enemy controller now, if we're going to pig settings or the code that the pig is attached to, we've got health settings and now we've just got finish, right? And it technically still should work even though we've privatized the actual nav mesh. Yeah, see? Let's just bump that speed up. Right, cool. So let's just bump this speed up to 7 again, right? And I'm just going to spawn loads because I want to see how far this guy can shoot. That's it. But you see how he's still looking at him? I'd have technically lost the game now, right? But you see how he's still looking at him, and we don't want that. So I wonder if I do this, right? This is just a debug situation, right? So that's the one that's closest, yeah? That's out of range now. It's still going to look at that one because that is still technically within range, right? So how can we do a distance to the closest one? Very, very, very interesting. It's a very interesting thing. So, what we're going to do is, do you know what? I might leave it here. I might just leave the stream here because I'm quite happy with how far we've got in an hour. Also, how long have we been going? 52 minutes. Quite happy with how long we've been going. 52 minutes on what we've got done. We've got the shooting going. The pigs can now die. We've got a basic Farmer's Mate set up. The pigs are now taking apples across the map and they are now deleting the points for the apples. So, do you know what? I think I'm going to leave it here because I want to start seeing some visual stuff, right? And I know it don't like matter, but I like the way I do it, the way I progress with game development is I like to see some stuff getting made. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go away, I want to make a couple of Farmer's Mates, right? I want to make a couple of props. I'm going to make an actual pig. It's all going to be low poly, but I'm going to make an actual pig. And we're going to update the game visuals. And then in the next episode, we're going to have it so that you can actually physically see a bullet going towards the pig. And then we're going to have like a health bar on top of the pig and stuff like that. So I'm going to leave it here for I'm going to leave it here for now, guys. Yeah, if you've enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We've got 1,070 subscribers, and I'm going to try and start streaming 3 times a week at least, maybe 4. I just can't make videos anymore because of family issues and stuff like that. Not family issues, but like family duties and stuff. So like it's just too time consuming. But I have like a spare hour. It is an hour. begins with a H. Why does hour sound weird? I have a spare hour here and there every day, so like I can stream and we can just get a little bit more done. Because I'm happy with what we've got done today. The farmer's mate can now do his thing. And do you know what, right? It's not actually going to be that difficult to add or implement, like clicking and placing the farmer mate down, which I cannot wait for. That's going to be good. And before we do that, on the tag on the ground, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a quick tag just so I don't forget. Right, and that ground is going to be ground. There's already going to be a ground in there. Nope, ground. Cool. Right, guys, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. If you've stayed and watched this long, I appreciate it. Sorry, my voice is a bit tetchy and dodgy, but yeah, until next time.